Motivation of doing an action is not the result. Never.
My question is, when most of the time my pleasurable and preferable are different, our inclination is towards pleasurable, how can I bring the motivation towards preferable?
That you are asking this question itself is the first sign.
Is the first?
Sign that this thought has come. How can I bring that motivation to always do the preferable? Itself is the first step. How many people will even think like that? They will say, why care? Anand karo, enjoy.
Always remaining in the first step itself, but how?
That you are thinking that is the first step itself is an illumination. That's what I am telling. You have already thought that pleasurable is the first step and the second step is preferable, is it not? That itself is a evolution. How many people, you just go outside and say, how many, what preferable, pleasurable? There is only one able, enjoy life, live life king size. Don't bother. How many people will even think that I am not able to do everything, all motivation is not going for preferable? How many people in Gita, there's a beautiful question Arjuna asks, Atakkena prayuktoyam. You are telling so many things, but even then, induced by what? Kena prayuktoyam, or influenced by what? I am doing all these works. Arjuna is asking Krishna. So the very question that he is asking Krishna, very fact that he is asking this question to Krishna means that there is some enlightenment. How many people ask? Are you getting the point? So that is coming from you only. I have not asked you to ask the question. So it has to come from you, and it will come. It is a natural and eventual process. What Swami Vivekananda says is, if you do it consciously, it will happen faster. Otherwise, you will have to get blows and then you will come. Even a worm, even amoeba will come to this. Eventually, they will evolve. But they will get blows and slowly they will come. And again we will forget, and again we will go and enjoy. Then again we will. This is the process. This is the process.
And that is happening. What you just said, that's always happening. Now,
I think what he wants to say is, for example, Shravan Kumar, suppose he didn't like to take care of his parents, but it is his duty to do it. How should he follow? I think that's what you will.
You will never be able to do it.
But then it has to be done.
No. The very concept of duty is binding. The moment I think it is my duty to come to Kharagpur, I will never come. 3 hours travel, again 6 hours travel. Why will I come? Unless I love Kathopanishad, I will not come here. So duty is a binding thing. Whenever you think it is my duty to love my wife, you will never love. It will be more mechanical. Are you getting the point? That's why Shravan Kumar is Shravan Kumar. Because he did not do it considering it as his duty. He loved to serve his parents. So the motive, see, generally we think,
Certain things that we are bound to. I mean, of course, being a sannyasi is a little.
work like a master. No, being a sannyasi, what being a sannyasi? Sannyasi I became the other day. I am 39, I became sannyasi when I was 23. Up to 23 also I never bothered. It's all not like that. You say, why sannyasi? I gave you the example of Nani Palkiwala.
You develop love for something which you
Don't love.
really like right now.
Why do you want to love something which you don't love?
No, because you have to do certain things.
No, do what you love. That is the whole key. Why you are caught up with,
no, do what you love means always the inclination is towards pleasure. You want
no. Love means, why do you think love is pleasurable?
all inclination is
No. Who said so? Don't you love your mother? What is pleasurable in that?
no, that, not with that example.
So there are certain kinds of love which are not pleasurable.
Correct. But here, as a faculty, I have to do research, I have to write paper and those things. Those are I should do. Now my mind.
But you don't love.
Now my mind. Okay, I don't love. Now how to bring that love?
So that is the idea.
But I should do.
You see this,
That's my duty as my job description. That's my duty.
so for example, putting it in a very lighter vein, so suppose there was one Swami, he was arguing with another Swami, and that was going on in a big direction. So other Swamis were perturbed that this person from Ramakrishna monk, whether he will be Ramakrishna order, whether this monk will be able to win the argument. Finally, that discussion went to Hiranyagarbha. So everybody was happy and went away, because this Swami was expert in Hiranyagarbha, the concept of Hiranyagarbha. So the idea is, whatever you love, try to do whatever you love. Like in office we have this channel music, no? What is that music called? So why do they keep? You try to love everything you do. Try to connect it with whatever you love. You have to do it. How can you do something nicely if you don't love it? It is impossible. It's a drudgery. And also you should work like a master, not like a slave. I am bound to do this. That is why you don't, see, what is the difference between a genius and an ordinary person? Genius works always like a master. You don't dictate to a genius, and they are all eccentric, no? You don't dictate. They work like in their own fashion. That's what. So you love whatever, this dichotomy will be there, just like the dichotomy of pleasurable and preferable. There will always be the dichotomy of something which you are not able to love. But the idea is, the key is that you start loving everything you do. How do you do that? You try to connect it with what you love. For example, suppose you are in research. You are in research. Say you like music. Okay. Now you try to connect all your research to music. Something, by some method you bring. You bring waves, you bring some frequency, you bring sound, do something. It can be done. People who go into cooking, who have a very good inclination towards design, they do this fruit carving. You know this fruit carving? It's a very specialized thing. So they are actually in catering technology, but they know design, so they have clubbed it together. You can do it.
Somewhere I read that if someone has a hammer, he tries to find nails everywhere.
So the idea is like that. You have to work in a very.
And Steve Jobs, he learned calligraphy and he implemented this calligraphy in his computer design.
Now, Steve Jobs was a very good designer, basically. Is some clarity there?
Swamiji, if you allow, when we go back to that instrument which is mind, how would we calibrate it properly?
Give it some time.
No, is there any scripture or?
No, there are a lot of scriptures. But first thing what you have to do is give some time to mind.
What do you mean?
Give some time to mind. For example, in the morning we get up. Generally people, I am saying generally because some people get up early in the morning at 11 o'clock. So generally it is all very relative. So morning people get up and generally they go to bathroom. Generally they brush their teeth and take bath. So you are giving some time to the body. You take food. Similarly, give some time. Just sit as we try to do here for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Why your eyes? Because this so much of distraction. Try to withdraw your ears. Don't touch anybody. He'll tell you one very, humorous thing. Once me and one Swami, very senior Swami, senior than me of course, and we both were going. How many of you have gone to Ramanashrama? Ramanashrama in Tiruvannamalai. Above there is a hillock and there is a cave called Vashishta Guha, where this Ramana Maharishi practiced sadhanas for many years. And actually below his waist the whole body got decomposed. That is why afterwards he could not walk properly. So we were going up. So on the way, it's all rocky way. There are landings, natural landings. And we found there are a lot of foreign people, non-Indians in Ramana Ashrama. We found that one man, one woman sitting and doing meditation. So I said, Maharaj, see, these people are coming from a different country and so devoted and they are meditating here. Immediately, that Swamiji is told, yes, 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 it is very easy to meditate when you have a woman in the front. So when you are wanting to withdraw, you withdraw, means it works both ways. For the woman it is very easy to meditate with a man in the front. So you withdraw, you don't have anybody near you, you don't have any kind of smell, biryani is being prepared, how can you meditate? You don't see anything, there is no music, just ears, and you try to just keep quiet. Do not think of anything. Do not think of anything. Just keep quiet. Then so many thoughts will come into your mind. You will suddenly remember that you had to submit that paper. You will remember this. Just all these thoughts go away. Just yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam asthiram tato tato niyamyaitat atmanyeva vasham nayet. 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. As and when the mind, which is chanchalam asthiram, which is restless and not stationary, asthiram, always wavering, nishchar, when it will go away from the thing you have to concentrate on, tato tato niyamyaitat, whenever it goes away, bring it back, focus on the object of meditation. Atmanieva vasham nayet, that is yourself. You try to focus. So here you don't need to do that. You just, so suddenly you will understand that you have been thinking about your lunch for 2 minutes. Then, oh, why am I thinking about my lunch? Then you bring the mind back. Then again some thoughts will go, again bring. Try to collect your mind. Are you getting the process? Do that. Give this exercise 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. Slowly increase it. Half an hour in the morning, half an hour. Your mind will be purified. How to calibrate the equipment? This is the beginning step. It is a huge process, but at least start somewhere. First give it some time. There is again another joke. There was an elephant mahout, elephant keeper. So this one elephant keeper was there and he had to go on some work to a place. So he asked his assistant to look after the elephant. Suddenly that elephant got dysentery. Then the assistant did not know what to do. Then he called this elephant keeper and said, what to do? Then he said, what to give him? They said, give him lot of space. Give him lot of space. What he needs now is space. Similarly, give some time to the mind. That is what it needs.
No, but there should be a test sample to calibrate.
Test sample is when you have no thoughts in the mind. And unlike these equipments where there is a control sample, in meditation or mind it will not work. Why? Because the sample is yourself. The control is yourself. It cannot be an external sample. It should be an internal sample. So it will take a lot of time for you to go to that level, for anybody to go to that level. But if you are asking strictly what is control, control is thoughtless mind. Thoughtless mind is realized state. So it is the ultimate. So it will take a lot of time to go to that level. But you have to try. That is why you don't get involved with thoughts. So many thoughts will come. Just be indifferent to these thoughts. Just close your eyes. Practice. Shanai uparamed. Buddhya dhriti grihitaya. Is it so? No. This is different. That is different. The context in which he used that was in the context of renunciation. He gives the example. No, sorry kichu nahi. He gives the example. Like there was one woman and the husband has come with this towel and with all that oil on hair, and the woman is telling, what kind of husband you are? You are always wandering behind me. You are doting on me. So wives should be actually happy, but she was complaining. You see the other person, he had so many wives and one by one he is giving wives, giving up one by one. So this person told, oh, this is sannyasa. Does one give up like that? You see how one gives up? He just took the towel on his shoulder and said, I give up, and he went away. So Sri Ramakrishna talks it in the context of renunciation. You cannot give up slowly. So I give up. Many people give up smoking. Oh, I was smoking 40 cigarettes a day. One day, one cigarette I will slowly give. So Mark Twain told, I gave up smoking 100 times in my life. So you don't give up like that. No? So it will never happen. But this giving, it is not, aste aste means what? This aste aste progress. Shanai uparamed. You are gradually going upwards. How? Buddhya dhriti grihitaya. You need intellect to discriminate what is correct, what is wrong, what is real, what is unreal. Dhriti grihitaya, and not being impatient, not being full of patience. You should have patience, and then dhriti grihitaya, and you go.
Swamiji said the renunciation was the instant one, though, but the preparation was very gradual in somebody's life. Renunciation becomes instant. For that, the preparation what he has been.
So in this context, what is Sri Ramakrishna's example? Sri Ramakrishna says that a person was sitting in the tree, and then he saw that there was tiger. So one person was sitting below and doing Shava Sadhana. What is Shava Sadhana? Corpse will be there. On that you have to sit and do meditation. Just imagining corpse, we get horror. No? What is that called? Zombie. Zombie is very popular now, particularly in Hollywood and Bollywood. So zombie. Recent movie anybody has seen? Zombie? Go Goa Gone. Very updated, you see. So anyway, so this zombie, this fellow was sitting and meditating, and then one tiger came and had breakfast and went away. Maybe some snack like that, went away. And then from the tree this fellow saw, then he also went there and started meditating. Within half an hour, Kali came and told, okay, tell what you want. So he was very happy, also upset. He said, what is this? I want this and all that. And then he said, what is this? That other fellow, he was meditating and you gave him as a snack, mirchi ka pakoda for our tiger. And I am sitting here just for half an hour and you are coming. So he said, no, you have been doing austerities for so many births. And that fellow just now started. So that is Shanai uparamed. Shanai, slowly it will not. Abhyasena cha vairagyena. Abhyasena tu vairagyena. Kaunteya. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Vairagyena cha grihyate. So by practice and also by vairagya. What is vairagya? Can anyone give me Sanskrit definition of vairagya? What is this? All of you are studying so many things. Isha Upanishad, Aparokshanubhuti and Katha. Sanskrit definition of vairagya.
Original word is Vida. No attachment to it.
Nitya anitya vastu vivekah. Iha amutra phalabhoga viraga. That is vairagya. Iha amutra. Iha means here in this world. Amutra means after death. Phalabhoga viraga. You what do you call? You
are not interested in the food.
No. What is that English word? You refrain from enjoying the fruits. You refrain from enjoying the fruits. Phala bhoga viraga. That is called vairagya. So in this life I am going on doing devotion to Lord Krishna because in the next life I will go Vaikuntha Loka. No, this is not vairagya. It is not vairagya. or I am not bothered about the next life, this life I will go on enjoying. That is also not Vairagya. Some people want both. They will enjoy, now and then they will go and give some dakshina to some ashrama or some sadhu or some temple. Now all these Balajis are rich because of this. All these businessmen, they will make nice money, and Balaji also. Some Balaji also likes, because his wealth also is increasing. So no, that is also not Vairagya. Vairagya means I don't want anything here, I don't want anything hereafter. Itself is very big thing. Bhalo gati dao bhagavan. No, that bhalo gati if you want, then this is not Vairagya. That is not Vairagya.
One writing is, so there is a conservation of virtue, that someone frees some parrots or some pigeons to space, and he is doing some punya, but who catches the pigeon for him, he is doing that part. So there is a conservation of virtue.
You mean like law of conservation of energy, like that?
Yes, the idea.
So these two people are there. We saw. These two kinds of people are there. And what do they do? Brahma vidaha tau chaya tapo vadanti. So how are these two kinds of people? One who want the preferable and the other one who want those who want the pleasurable. How are they defined by the Brahma vidaha? Brahma vida means people who have known Brahman, Brahmagya, or knowers of God, or wise people. How they define them? Tau, they define as chaya tapo vadanti. They define as light and shade. So people who want preferable, they are called light, and people who want the pleasurable, they are called shade. So light and shade, they are like light and shade. So that means what? Wherever this preferable people will be there, this people who want this pleasurable also will be there. Then also yecha panchagnayah, there are people who worship panchagna, 5 kinds of Agni: Garapatya, Ahavantya, Ahavaniya, Dakshinagni, Sabhya and Avasatya, or fires of heaven, cloud, earth, man and woman. So people who worship this Pancha Agni, they, and also those who perform the Agni which was named after Nachiketa, Nachiketa Agni. Those who perform 3 Nachiketa means 3 times they perform this Nachiketa Agni. They also say the same thing. Means, you see, who are the experts of the path of preferable? People who have attained the goal, that is Brahmagyana. So they also say the same thing. Who are the experts of the path of pleasurable? People who have attained the goal in pleasurable. And what is that? By performing this Pancha Yagni, you get everything. And by performing this Nachiketa sacrifice 3 times, that is what Yama promised to Nachiketa. If anybody performs this Nachiketa sacrifice 3 times, he will get everything. So these are the experts. So if you want to know nuclear physics, you go to a PhD in nuclear physics. If you want to know geography, you go to a PhD in geography. So this is what? Ritam Pibantau, 2 kinds of people. So for one, Brahmagyani are the experts, and for the other, these kinds of people are the experts. Both say the same thing. What do they say? That they get Parame Parardhe, that they reach to the supreme space in heart. Now here, we have to understand one thing. This is an imagery made, that enjoyment, Ritam Pibantau, both enjoy. Now here one contradiction is there. What is the contradiction? Pleasurable people, they enjoy, we can understand. But preferable, those who want preferable, why do they enjoy? They don't want the fruits. So they are not actually enjoying. Are you getting the point? Those who want preferable path, they are not enjoying. For them this is a spiritual path. But why it is this word enjoyment is used for both the people. An example is given when a king is moving in a procession with an umbrella. So the king has got the umbrella, other people have no umbrella. Only the king big umbrella will be there, and that will. But in Sanskrit they say Chhatrinam Gacchanti, means people with umbrellas are going. So actually people, only king is going, but along with king everybody is taken. Along with king everybody is taken. So when a VIP moves, we say VIP movement. So VIP is only one person sitting in a car. In front of him there are 4 vehicles, back there are 4 vehicles, there is pilot van, then there is this thing, then the ambulance, but we will still tell VIP retinue. So in that VIP is only one, but because everybody is with the VIP, it becomes. So here enjoyment is done only by people who are wanting the pleasurable, but preferable also is told like that. Is it clear? Okay, today I will stop here because we have discussed many other things, particularly too much of terrorism, very terroristic. Another thing I wanted to tell is that the whole idea about reading Kathopanishad or any Upanishad or any Shastra is to understand ourselves. So as I was telling, calibrating the mind or preparing the mind, we have to start also practicing it. So you see, this does not only help you, as the scripture says, it does not only help you in the path of the preferable, it will also help you in the path of the pleasurable. Our problem is, as I said, chitta vikshepa. What happens? We are not able to enjoy the moment. We are not able to live in the moment. Robert Ingersoll was a agnostic. He once asked Swami Vivekananda, or said, ridiculed Swami Vivekananda. He said, you have become a monk, you are not able to enjoy the world. So I enjoy the world. You see, it's like an orange, I am drinking the juice of the world. Swami Vivekananda said, yes, I also drink, but I will drink that even to the last drop. You cannot do that. Why? Because you are caught up with so many stress, anxiety. You see, you go to a big restaurant, people are sitting there, they are doing anything but eating. Either you are talking, or you are worried about what the other person will think of your dress, whether you are able to impress the other person, what she or he is thinking. All these things are going on, and there is beautiful food in front of you, you are not able to relish it. So this story you might have already heard. Zen master, one disciple went to the Zen master and said, Master, I want to know the path, I want to learn the path. So he said, yes, stay with me. So 3 days he is staying, and after that 3 days he said, you are not teaching me anything. So I said, yes, I am teaching you. You just look at me, what did you see? I said, what did I see? You are eating, drinking, walking, sleeping, just like I do. I said, no,